his wife, and I think he narrowly escaped, and subsequently also. So that's an example of what I can call, I believe in retributive justice, but that is not to advocate for it. But where it becomes necessary, if the people feel they cannot trust, then there is something called retributive justice. So we can also exercise faith in that realm. You know, we're not just being Christians for lip service. The best way to know a Christian is the ability to draw the power to the scene of trouble.
That's it.
So it's not a fancy.
That's a portion of the Bible says that the man's infirmities will be sustained by his spirit.
Exactly. So
you are permitted to have infirmities.
Yes.
But what sustains you is your spirit.
Yes,
the spirit of the man
degree of belief. Yes, of the unseen.
Yes.
So don't just say you're a Christian believer and you're only waiting when there's a half testimony. The oil company just gave me job. That's not evident.
Is it not somebody that owns the oil company? Families own oil company.
Even the negative spirits can create babies. So even the childbirth is not sufficient to say it's a miracle.
That's it.
After all, mad women give birth under flyovers.
I mean.
So there are a lot of
give birth out of wedlock.
Yes.
So what are you talking about?
So that's our metaphysics are not sufficient evidence to say God is fighting for
supremacy.
You know,
so
we must keep faith and ultimately hope that this day come peacefully, sustained, and we'll begin to chart the way forward. Like I've always said, what this incoming government led by Ahmed Bola Tinubu can do first is the kind of South African experience, which is to dismantle. I want to say it for emphasis sake. Anything that has given anybody a sense of discrimination must be tackled with all urgency. Because now, Gerard, that was a sister platform. The topic was, why is there increase of this Kleche na Jagba, which is a phrase for leaving the shores of Nigeria. Even if before now Nigerians have been leaving, but it seemed to be alarming.
Not just brain drain, family drain. Because brain drain is when it comes to professional exiting and exodus.
Nigerians are known to be very tolerable or very tolerant and very resilient. But here you find the more you try to endure, the system tends to resist you. That is like you are enduring without a substantial hope. That is like, let me endure with the belief that something will change positively. But it's like the more you endure, the system gets harsher on you.
There seems to be hopelessness.
On you. Yes, you tend to be hopeless. So there is that human factor tendency to say, okay, let me, after all, even in the God's character and spiritual, people have to move from one place to another for milk and honey land. So, but I believe, yes, we have the same milk and honey here. But something went wrong with the natives of the spiritual Canaan of milk and honey that had to cause the Israelites to come. But we shouldn't be victims of that. We should go and study what went wrong. What did those people do wrong? Why those of them who were natives of the land blessed with milk and honey were not enjoying it, and God had to cause some other people to come, like we are seeing right now. Look at, we have oil and gas. We will take our occupational force to be escorting foreigners. We also have professionals abroad. I have not heard any day that the American Marines will be escorting an expert from Nigeria wherever he goes. It's only here you see it. Even people who, some of us are far qualified than, you now use national instrument of coercion to be escorting them for economic commodity. The constitution did not say the job of the military is to escort those who come to explore crude oil. That's not their constitutional responsibility. In fact, the other day I was so embarrassed that while I was driving behind, and one of the he even had a vest with the name of the oil well. We've embarrassed ourselves to that extent. The vest he was putting on the military personnel had the name of the oil well those expatriates were working on. You can imagine how embarrassing. Now these are not acceptable.
Military.
Military, that if against section 1217 of the constitution that talks about technicians. You can say that.
Yes, sometimes.
So people want to have a sense of greatness in the land, a sense of equality, a sense of being treated with dignity. Look at the way we are employed, the condition of service. There is nobody protecting anybody. You are sacked. The ones who have already can't have. Just days ago I had a chat with a lady. She said, do you know, sir, I graduated with a nurse. She is now in a certain oil company, and in one point I am struggling with 30,000. But we go to the same market. She couldn't just, she said, look at me. You know, so we need a president that can first of all begin to look at what will give us a sense of equality, and a sense of, why am I a Nigerian?
Yes.
Why will I prepare to die for this country? Why will I love this country to the extent that I'm ready to lay my life?
Yeah.
That kind of value is what is expected. If this person comes in and continue the old order of it's only those who did all the violence
Nigerians
to bring
will also
into
see
power,
as the old order.
That's my fear.
That's it.
So while we are struggling to maintain peace for the swearing in come May 29, we want to see a reciprocation from the incoming government to do everything to maintain the peace, and that peace can only be maintained when he's willing. He demonstrates the willingness and courage to pursue justice. Justice is the grandmother or the great grandmother to peace. So absence of, if this government undermines the value of justice, and this justice shouldn't be selective. That is another fundamental mistake we've been making. Must be holistic.
Justice
must not, regardless who. So he shouldn't sit back and keep surround himself with aides who will come up whipping up bitterness and hatred. To say, remember what this person said against you. Remember what this tribe said against. Remember what this religion said against you. If he starts with surrounding himself with this kind of, because great over the years, see human history, some leaders are made or mad by the quality of leaders.
That's the dead on arrival theory.
Seriously.
Of course.
So we are saying this because of experience. We can see even the outgoing president Muhammadu Buhari, that's one of his shortcomings. Surrounding himself, let's go, we had the same discussion in the sister TV platform. When I read, he said, but I said, look, there is something called responsibility. If you assemble cabinet members and you give out certain instructions according to because your vision is expected to represent the embodiment of the people's yearnings. So where your subordinates fail, what do? You excuse them. We've seen in Donald Trump experience how even subordinates will take on him, trying to act beyond expectations of the majority, and they're willing to sacrifice which is their opportunity. They let it go. So, Mr. President, if you think you can't pursue this one that will favor majority, forget, I'm resigning. So we need to also develop that culture. Nobody should be head bent to say it is my office. After all, I must stay there. No. You are doing things that have become unpopular. And it's offensive to the people. It's not delivering complete the values to the people. And you say you must continue to be in that office. No. We are not going to say, when I say we the people of Nigeria,
according to the constitution.
We are not going to accept the preamble.
The preamble. We the people of Nigeria.
We begin to evoke our responsibility, the authority we vested in the constitution as a people, collectively. So that is even the real strength of why we are going to keep peace, because it is we the people that are going to keep the security agency, the conventional forces, occupational forces. We support them. They'll be doing their constitutionally prescribed responsibilities. But as a people, we need to talk to ourselves. Like that is the reason why the DSS, the DMI, police is issuing authorities that they hear those who want to. This is what they are referring to. Come from the people. So
that's true. Even non-state actors are also within the communities.
We are the actual characters of whatever security breach you might experience.
That's
that you can also have compromises from within the security outfits. Because a whole lot of them also share these sentiments with the non-military.
Because there are individual discussions. There are phone calls and all that. Family discussions.
They do.
Beer parlor discussions and all that.
Do we need to pretend? Part of what has made the Boko Haram fight against is so complex. It's part of it. At some point, even the presidency admitted it. A whole lot of compromise. How some of them ambushed their discussions. We've lost very fine colonels and major generals because you wonder that how come the terrorists always know that they're on their way, coming. Unknown to them that they have a
and they don't have a specific
timing of
placing
it shows that
location.
From within their circle there was a mole who flourished with the what do you call the aggressors. So we are making this appeal because we don't want to shy away. We don't want to pretend that these things are social realities staring us. So while on one hand we are looking at the ordinary people and their sponsors to come and create breach of peace or whatever, we're also calling on the security to also look within their circles. Because we know a whole lot of them are not also satisfied with the old order and with the way things are going. Some of them have been cut short in the line of duty. They have their grievances, adequate compensations were not paid and all that. We know some of them are still not seeing that. That even explains what we're seeing the police that is coming back to Ray said that gave rise to the infamous NSAS. And because not that, thank God, if I just days ago where I was insisting that it should done, hours later I heard the Senate now is passing a bill for NSAS victim compensation and what have you. Those are the kind of now they can see now because some of us have been leading that advocacy, particularly when we are looking at some of the things this incoming government will look at. So we are saying this because let us not be carried away for just May 29 peace. It will be foolhardy. We are looking at
be extended.
Yes, as
in the coming days,
as
coming
the
years.
president-elect is moving away from Eagle Square.
Yeah.
These things we are pointing out should be the machineries he must put in place.
And implementation immediately.
Separatist group. In fact, if I am to learn from the great Nelson Mandela, look at him. UN was put together since 1948. They celebrate only events. Nelson Mandela was born 18 July. Now, if person in 2013,
my birthday.
By 20, look at that. That's great.
Yes.
No wonder you
Nelson
have a
Mandela, Wale Soyinka, late Queen of England.
By 2014, the UN General Assembly had a resolution to adopt him as an event. So hence, since every 18 July, he is now celebrated a world event.
That is
now,
my
I was
date.
curious. That's why I said, no, I must go and fight with this man. I jealous him till even where he's lying down. I said, but what can, not even the great Winston Churchill, because I discovered that the virtue
demonstration
of the ability to forgive his jailer.
Exactly.
I said, wow.
He said,
so this is actually a virtue.
He said
so. Tinubu, don't listen to people that will make you feel it's cowardice or it smacks of weakness to say, I want to sit down with you eyeball to eyeball
and know what you want.
What's the other man's name? Sunday, what have you? I want to sit down with you eyeball to eyeball. Those of them are the Odua Niger Delta leader. Yes. Right now, unfortunately, we don't even have an organized leadership. But so to speak, he can do well.
People like Asare, people like Tompolo, people like these are the leaders.
No, with due regard, they have had their own share. You can't eat your cake and have it.
But then maybe upcoming.
The upcoming. Yes. We have very people who, some of our people, me talking here, I'm also a Niger Delta leader. I have the privilege.
I am also one of them.
You're also one of them. So we have the capacity
to us
engage.
about it.
We are embodiment of, we know the issues.
You're right. You're right.
So that is what we are appealing. That if it starts on that note, the peace that the security agencies are gunning for now to happen on May 29, our desire, our expectation is that that peace must be sustained, rooted in justice, sin to be dispensed to the people. And we are now going further to help the president-elect that will be receiving inauguration, the way he will go about it. So I'm sure if he does that, we will not just enjoy peace on May 29, it's going to be sustainable.
All right, thank you so much, Pato Bene. We will just have to embark on a short break. We'll be back and continue with mid-morning conversation. Don't go away. We are here.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's now time to bring you the latest around Nigeria.
Nigeria has been facing series of issues. We talk about the challenges of the security challenges in Nigeria. It's getting rampant. It's getting increasing and getting worse in every day. Nigerians will not continue like this.
This is Family Love 97.7 News Break.
Family Love 97.7 FM News Break. I am Felix Ojogu in Rivers. Governor Wike lays foundation stone for new Federal High Court complex along Forces Avenue, Ojere in Port Harcourt. In politics, Buhari's cabinet members switching allegiance to Tinubu that's coming from Garuba Shehu. In judiciary, Chief Justice of Nigeria swears in 39 more judges for 2023. Nigeria's Security and Civil Defense Corps threatens to prosecute unlicensed private guard companies. In crime, murder charges, Doguwa has no case to answer coming from Kano State government. In sports, United told to pay 140 million euro for Osimhen. Niger Super 8, 41 clubs, no fate today. In the economy, IMF tasks Tinubu on revenue generation, debt reduction. Depositors' funds were secured. Microfinance banks react to CBN's revocation. Still on the state of the nation, Buhari hands over transition documents to Tinubu. I've run a good race, finished my course, says Buhari. Nigeria will fall if Kano dies in detention, says IPOB. I am Felix Ojogu. Stay tuned.
We have senators, we have House of Rep members who are supposed to be doing what we send them there to do, but are they doing what we ask them to do for us?
This is Family Love 97.7 News Breaks.
All right, welcome back to mid-morning conversation. Part of Bene, you're still here. And before we went on break, we were talking about A lot of things.
Seriously.
You know, on this program, we are full of matters.
Seriously.
We just have to we are time conscious and all that. What will we say? What will we not say? Tribunal gets transition report, vows to tackle. That is Tinubu rather gets transition report, vows to tackle the security power crisis. May 29. We are talking about insecurity and general.
Yes.
Yeah. So from where it stopped, please let's continue.
The insecurity
Yeah.
he's talking about is not just, he shouldn't be focused on occupational force.
Yeah.
That's the mistake of the outgoing government. It's not about gadgets, military gadgets, bomber jets, the increase of AK-47 bullets and what have you. No, that's not. I wish that as we are speaking, they should remind him. I wanted to add, when looking at stakeholders, he needed to have a stakeholders conference.
Yeah.
A separatist group, aggrieved groups here and there. Look at what has happened in Benue State. Look at what is still happening in Plateau State. Just last night I was reading between a certain pastor had been cut short by a certain headsman, and I was so
I was
almost moved to tears.
Wow.
You know, so this thing shouldn't be by proxy. And like last time I said, a whole lot of these people. Let him himself, this energy he used in traveling around now, even before being sworn, he should exhibit it now. Have the energy, courage to sit patiently with these people, eyeball to eyeball. These are the people that you, like you said, they voted for you.
Yes.
You like it. We're not talking about right now. We're not talking about how many INEC counted or not.
Or not.
You are the president now.
Yes.
Listen to what they want to say.
Be the father of all.
Not by proxy.
Yes.
Now allow them also to propose the best way they feel that
they
can
should be governed.
Prevent this incident.
And you have your ultimate decision.
Yes,
based on your team.
Exactly. You can now place it side by side, get views of other Nigerians.
Yes.
We see fight and
discuss with your team members.
If you start with this impository attitude,
no.
This dictatorial,
it will meet with resistance.
You don't even have a fundamental understanding of the insecurity you want to tackle.
Don't forget, he's coming with hope, renewed hope.
That is why we're helping him for free now.
Hope.
In fact, this is security consultancy we're doing.
Supposed to pay us.
Because you have a lot of companies. We understand a whole lot of people in this occupational force prefer that as long as the crisis remains, their pockets get swollen.
That's it.
We cannot shy away from that fact. As a people, if we want to tell a lie against this one, then we should forget about securing our people.
After all, the ammunition we're talking about is not being sold by people.
We have talked about boundary states. Nigeria had some of these areas where this happened, like particularly the northeast and north. Get these locals. Till date, the outgoing government, one day we've not heard the Controller General of Immigration, how grilled it. Like last time I pointed out, how did UK suddenly get to know that over 200,000 Nigerians came with their relations that came under the guise of studies? How did they get to know that?
Intelligence report.
It wasn't after 10 years of census. So you need to put in place, as a matter of administrative urgency and technological advancement, you cannot continue to give excuses. The immigration, for example, Bauchi, what do you call it, Zamfara, all these states, Meduguri, they are boundary states. Now, if you must keep immigration personnel, let them come from the locals that can man those boundaries. Last time here, Professor Zibanjo last time proposed that they were going to have e-border system. We didn't hear anything out of it again. Now, these are example of new security measures. The personnel must be trained and retrained in using this kind of thing, because some of these people who are illegal immigrants coming into Nigeria create mayhem and compromise with some of us here. They have this physical semblance. There is this socio-cultural semblance. For instance, if you take somebody from Niger, they have this strong semblance with somebody from Bauchi or Zamfara. So it will take only the local of Zamfara or Bauchi to identify. That's why certain embassies you appear, place your passport. The immigration personnel of whoever is talking to you there has the instinct to understand and quickly decipher that, look, this person is not a Zamfara local or a Nigerian local, despite it has very strong semblance. You know, these are many more kind of security intelligence you must explore and develop for the overall benefit, and make provisions, adequate provisions, that will keep these personnel comfortable to the extent that they cannot be compromised by external forces, nor even within elements within that want the old order to continue. As a president, if he's not ready, because these areas consume so much. Look at how much the FBI about hush puppies experience. Spent 3 years in a hotel.
Telling him
Have you ever imagined the cost? Yeah. Is that not a system? It took the political. It's a system where instead of money thrown around to senators and House of members doing nothing, they committed it to security agencies because they want to achieve peace. Yeah. And they know that once there is internal stability, all other things can thrive. Here we undermine that value. We say no, the immigration personnel doesn't need much. After all, he has a uniform. He has a salary of 30,000. He can't do much.
And Pat, you've always said something because Tinubu gets transition report and all that.
Yes.
Vows to tackle insecurity, power crisis. Yes. You've always said something about economic security.
That's right.
Wouldn't it be very wise of this incoming administration to embark on economically securing the masses?
Clearly so. It's going to be a combination of factors. That's why I was coming to that. You cannot isolate. That's another fundamental approach, or that must be considered. You don't say, okay, since they are talking about security, we have always argued, is very broad.
Yeah.
Is right now the UN standard is no longer talking about military gadgets. We must understand this one. So while you understand that one, that leads you to the economic security. In that one, within that one, you have multifaceted factors. For example, housing is economic security.
Yeah.
Purchasing power is economic security. Electricity supply, that is even the most fundamental. Is economic security. That one now has multiple effects.
Yeah.
Once you can get uninterrupted or stable power supply.
Yes.
So you need to do everything, and I've said let's go for that to help them technically. For that to be stable, we've noticed one sabotage going on that's affecting previous efforts. Now, if you notice, if you look at, just as I'm talking, I keep animating the market out there. You find out that we have a population that is into this importation of lister generators or generators generally of all sizes, particularly to industries, individuals, the high and mighty. That's why they don't worry about
power generation,
electricity supply,
power applied. Yes.
Good. Now, if a government wants to show the way to keep power, this will be threatened.
Yeah.
Now, as a government, as a president, don't just wake up and say, I am going. No.
Discuss with them.
Get them first.
Have it.
Understand how much they make from that process.
Yeah.
Then incubate, bring them into that process. Because after all, they will even make times 10.
Yeah.
Imagine that only generation. For example, even if we are dwelling on only gas as a source, of course we know wind and water is there. Imagine asking them to come up with an evaluation, developing a process. Imagine how much. You'll be surprised
that they will be part of the developers.
Yes. You generate, you transmit, you distribute.
Yes.
Bring them into these trade chains.
Commit them.
Allow them to
so that they will not lose out completely.
Get all their personnel. They will also be the ones to secure it in collaboration with host communities. Where these facilities or assets will be sited and all that.
Yes.
Now, make sure that you make them comfortable far above. Which of course we have it. We have it. That is why we cannot continue to be paying senators and too much jumbo pays. And we hear Accountant General right now that the case is still pending. Where did he get over 80 billion? The one snake have swallowed. These ones that oil group money that is missing.
Where did Matawale get 70 billion?
These funds, they will be sufficient to make these people comfortable to the extent that they will not have any human or economic reason to compromise the process,
and
hence,
they will also
achieve stable power supply,
and they will also be gainfully employed, engaged,
because including their personnel, because definitely in their small import organizations they have people working for them. You absorb all of them into that process. Not once you're starting it now, all you need to do, you start with your APC person to say can give you that contract.
No.
You are taking us back to Egypt. So we are drumming this into his understanding and his study. He is believed to have did well in Lagos. That's why I've argued. Let people not keep using that measurement. Nigeria
Lagos is more complex than microcosm of Nigeria.
He grew up there, so he doesn't
Lagos is just an infinitesimal aspect of Nigeria.
I believe that.
So this is a bigger platform now.
You young graduates who are leaving schools, you must not leave them wandering the streets. So they don't become a tool. Housing and power supply. Space subsidy. Any graduate, get his details. If he can't afford electricity supply, subsidize it for him. If he can't afford house rent, subsidize it for him. Then whatever job you think he can also do, get an average of the pay of that job. So because we have the money. For even if it's not just crude oil alone, look at where we are. Imagine when we begin to explore the other ones,
other options.
we have more than enough
More
to
than
take care
enough.
of everybody.
More
That
than
is
enough.
way to achieve his insecurity and
all right, thank
power
you.
supply.
Thank you so much, Pato Bene. This is still mid-morning conversation, 97.7 FM. Of course, this beautiful Friday morning in Port Harcourt, Garden City, and of course the treasure base of the nation. May 2019 we get transition report vows to tackle insecurity power crisis. Of course, still on that May 29, police deploy personnel to protect Aso Villa, Eagle Square. And we said, what about other places? But they should please go beyond that. Go to my village and protect it too, because it's still the same May 29.
The state commands have that constitutional attitude.
All right.
They should
Right.
rather
Please
provide
let it
them
be
all the logistics.
nationwide, not just Aso
All
Villa
they need is the
and
logistics.
Eagle Square. Yes. Spread the
That's why you
protection.
have state
And of
commands.
course, let the protection go beyond May 29. We need ceaseless peace, not just on that day alone, but every other day. All right, we'll throw the lines open. We're trying to make it conversational right now. It's now your project. It's not a project, it's not a program. 084550977 or 084555977. The lines are already buzzing. Let's take this first caller. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning. I can't hear you. Uh-oh. Maybe you call us back so that we can hear you. I can barely hear you. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning. Please, maybe you call back again. Hello, good morning. All right, 084550977 or 084555977. We are having some glitches here, but call us on 084550977 or 045555977. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
All right, yes, your name and location, please. All right, go ahead. All right. Hello, good morning. Good morning. All right, call us on 084550977 or 084555977. Please call us, and we're here to answer you. But we're still talking about Tinubu getting transition report and, of course, vowing to tackle insecurity and power crisis. You made a lot of sense out of that, security or not, economic security. And again, if he wants to really end this power crisis, like you did say, I think there's sense in that.
Stakeholders.
Mop it up.
Yes.
Call the stakeholders
First.
to a meeting, and of course assure them of that participation
In the process.
and not hijacking it for
To
your political
patronage.
Yes.
That would be a
That's
fundamental blunder.
Engage them.
Yes.
Their personnel and everybody.
Yes.
Hello, good morning.
Hello.
Yes, good morning.
This is Gostan from out. Are you hearing me?
Yes, I can hear you now. Ghost time. Go ahead. Thank you for calling. All right.
This to tackle insecurity is not what Nigeria is facing is not just insecurity. I used to say it in this platform of this radio. What Nigeria is facing is economic. We are facing economy because you cannot just say I want to fight insecurity then without fighting the economy, because say I used to talk say an angry man. The hungry man is an angry man.
That's why we are saying economic security.
That is why if you have to revive our economy.
Okay.
Not just to say you have to revive our economy. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Honorable Ghost time from Ahuda there. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, morning. Name and location, please.
I am calling you from Chie. I'm Pastor Felix Yamensek.
Okay. Pastor Felix.
I just want to encourage you to go ahead. May the good God strengthen you to what you are doing, what you people are doing to us, giving us, trying to give us what we hear and,
Oh, wow. My namesake, please call back. I want to hear the conclusion of the matter. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning. Wow. Hello, good morning. 084550977 or 084555977. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Felix.
Yes, good morning.
Thank you from Port Harcourt.
All right, AB.
Tinubu has promised.
Yeah.
And that the same promise, Mr. President outgoing also promised. The one thing we should understand is that when you are not ready and you don't have the terrain of the environment of which where you want to operate, you will never operate successfully.
That's
Remember,
right.
the Minister of Education, Adamu, just said it the way it is. There is a notice to the ministry that he was appointed to, which is Minister of Education. There is a notice. He doesn't know anything about it. Then he was brought in to come and head that affair. How will he perform? So for me, Mr. President was not even ready. He doesn't even know the terrain. When he was the former head of that was the military era. It's a pure different with democracy.
Civilian rule, yeah.
I'm telling you, pure different. He doesn't have knowledge how he plays out. He thought it's a military rule. And that's why he came in, promising heaven and earth, telling you that he's a president of everybody and president of nobody. Nobody's holding him. Both the good and the bad he has done. Nobody. Because he told you that I'm your president, I'm not your president. So it's pure clear. So Tinubu now coming in. What did Tinubu promise Nigerians during his campaign? That he will continue where the predecessor.
The presidency
stopped. Promise?
Yeah.
But we have somebody who have told us that look, we need to borrow and invest so that what you're investing in, something can come out as an income. You use to pay the debt.
Now he has narrowed it down to tackling insecurity and power crisis.
It's the same promise you can see because you know that he doesn't know anything or he doesn't know the terrain. They just want to be a president. That's their own problem. They have to solve the economic situation. They don't know. Let's just tell ourselves this. But somebody who said, I have studied it, even went ahead to other countries, examine how they do these things, in order to come in and implement it. And the masses of the Nigeria voted for him. They robbed him that mandate. How do you think Nigeria will be peaceful? We are watching the peace. DSS, the army, or the police cannot bring peace in this country. Whatever they like, let them do. But what they want is that the karma will strike when time comes.
All right.
What to happen.
Thank you for you taking your time to call us. We believe in peace and of course the indivisibility of we Nigerian people. We've come out. Yes, we've come out to do that and say we must stay united and peaceful. Hello, good morning. Yeah,
Mr. Felix, good morning.
Yes, good morning. Is that Chris Nwokoko or who?
Yeah, this is Chris Nwokoko.
Yes, your voice is all right. Go ahead, Chris.
Let me talk. Let me go out for my radio.
All right, yes, please do that.
Let me talk of the president-elect.
Okay.
Talking of tackling insecurity.
Yes, and power crisis.
Even the President Buhari, who is still on seat, presently now, and I know he'll be leaving on May 29.
Yes.
Promise the same thing. And you see a lot of promises all these politicians are giving us. We are not seeing anything. There are some places you go today, if they are Nigerians, you will not believe it. Because Nigerians came out in mass and voted for all these politicians. But what we are seeing today, we are not seeing the dividends of the democracy.
The vote cast.
Everybody is aware of that. You see where we are today. I don't know how we managed to get here. And I don't know how we can get out of this place. If you watch what is going now, all these politicians we voted in to go and represent us, they are enjoying with their families. And we who voted them there, we are suffering. If you look at even some states, you see what is happening in some states, you will believe me that Nigerians, we are suffering. Look at how much we are buying food, a bag of rice.
How do we?
How can the president achieve this?
How can they?
Things are not good at all.
Yeah.
And you see somebody who is a senator and he has been a minister. The same come back to be a governor for 8 years. You are going out. You are presenting yourself to Senators of Assembly to make sure they will give you severance benefit. Why you are unable to pay the workers in your state? You are unable to pay the pensioners.
All right. So what, Chris, we may have to let you go because others want to talk to us. What do you think should be done? What's the way out? If you have the way out, can we have it?
Say he can do this. How
All
do
right.
you want him to do?
Yes. Hello. Good morning. Hello. Good morning. All right. 084550977 is still our line, and or 084555977. Pat,
people need to interrogate more on what the president has.
Or let me see if we can take this line before you now give us. Hello, good morning.
Yeah, good morning, good friend Philip.
Yes, civilian general.
And my adopted brother.
Thank you so much. Good morning, sir.
Go ahead.
I greet you.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
I am civilian general. I'm calling from
Yes.
LLM.
Yes. Go ahead.
At the time, I listened to people who called commending you guys for a job well done.
Thank you.
And we are not saying because you are sitting there. We are saying that they say, show me your friend, then I'll tell you whom you are.
Yeah.
From the presentation, the quality of things coming out from your mouth has given us that to hope that if Nigeria should do what should be done well, that we have quality men and women who can move this nation forward.
That's right.
But why are we where we are today? Because we start and look for quantity. And that's why year in, year out, who do we get to move the nation forward? It is we are seeing on a daily basis. Even when people have volunteered their lives, vote for us, we shall do it, and people turn out to vote for them. They collected from them, another person are collected it. Tinubu promising us that he will vote, he will fight insecurity. And after the step right, how will we fight security when our net, even the network, there's a time they're talking of cash, whatever. For you to transfer whatever, after you say 3 hours, for the people to confirm that they have received it before for you to leave. Is it electricity that is working? And we have a lot of graduates who graduated, maybe because there's no job they want to do. They don't have electricity for them to do their job, to be self-employed. We thank God, you see, we fight insecurity. We pray for him. And if you want to fight insecurity, it's not only recruiting more army and then investing more money in the buying of ammunition. No, he should look. And what shall we do so that these graduates who are graduating on a daily basis, if they will choose to do barbering, if they choose to say, okay, this is what they want to do, let us create an enabling environment so that people will be self-dependent on government and then think on how to be self-reliant and help themselves to become somebody in life. If not, the brand that we are seeing every day, the people who live in this country, anyone who has an opportunity will not run away. Anyone has an opportunity to run away and is not helping the nation to grow as they should grow. Thank you very much. Once again, have a great day.
All right, thank you so much, Civilian General. Pat, just 1 minute of your wrapping it up.
Well, clearly, I'm glad for the support we are getting from the callers and their understanding of our direction. That's how to build a nation. Nations are built by ordinary people, not exclusive preserve of the few political elites. Now, what is important here is that there is an equity maxim that says he who comes to equity comes on tainted hands. I think there is a serious moral burden on Ahmed Bola Tinubu after he's sworn in. This part of what has created the insecurity he's talking about is the imposition of leaders. I want to quickly add that he needs to circumcise, his conscience and put up extraordinary courage to mobilize his fellow political class and sensitize them to discourage this primitive culture of imposing leaders. I can tell you that goes a long way of breeding the violent insecurity you see. Because once you miss that fundamentally, those who are aggrieved, because again they are not seeing a predictable legal system where it is like the highest bidder takes it all, they don't tend to have trust. So he needs to, promote a governance culture that will discourage that. And he needs to also promote the governance culture of listening and also to, discourage this impunity culture. When you find public officers wanting, people can't account for or show transparency in financial conduct and what have you, and the next thing, the matter is lay low. That kind of thing cannot bring security. That kind of primitive values cannot bring security. So he needs to fundamentally, think through and assemble think tank that are devoid of his APC class. If he doesn't do that, I'm afraid that he might just be doing a wishy-washy
and repeating the footsteps of
and that would be very dishonorable and to his person.
All right, thank you so much, Pastor Bennett. Thank you for coming. Thank you for coming.
I'm glad.
And also those that listen to us, our teaming listeners, I thank you so much. Those that took the time to call in, I thank you. This is still 97.7 FM. Family Love 97.7 FM. Don't go away. The rest of our programming will come your way at exactly 12 noon. I will be back with the world news at 12. Don't go away. We will be right back. Thanks. I am Felix Ojogo.
Love, 100% pure. We got the love. 97.7 Love FM.
Stay up to date with the biggest news and current affairs from the local, national and international scene on Family Love 97.7 FM Port Harcourt. Listen to the news at dawn at 6:30 a.m. The news at noon at 6 p.m. News updates at 10 a.m. and 4 p.m. And the news in Pidgin English at 11 a.m. and 2 p.m. The news on weekends at 12 noon and 6 p.m. Saturdays and Sundays. Family Love, your source for the news.
Welcome to the News Hour.
Good afternoon. Let the spirit of nationalism drive all you think and do as a Nigerian citizen shown ethnicity. I am Felix Ojogo with the news on Family Love 97.7 FM, Port Harcourt Media Awards 2022 radio station of the year. In the highlights, Supreme Court dismisses PDP's double nomination suit against Shetima. Inspector General Police deploys new police commissioner to Rivers. Wike dissolves Rivers State Executive Council. Plus, U.S. militia leader sentenced to 18 years in prison for January 6 Capitol riot. Details coming up shortly. Thank you for joining us. It's Friday, May 26, 2023. We begin the news this afternoon with the report that the Supreme Court has today, May 26, dismissed the suit seeking the disqualification of Kashim Shetima as the vice presidential candidate of the APC for double nomination. The five-member panel of the Apex Court held that the People's Democratic Party lacked the local standard to institute the suit. The panel said the PDP is not a member of the APC. In the meantime, the Court of Appeal in Abuja on Thursday slammed a fine of 40 million naira on a former presidential candidate, Chief Ambrose Albert Owuru for filing a frivolous suit to stop the inauguration of the president-elect Bola Tinubu on May 29. The appellate court ordered the politician to pay the fine of 10 million naira each to President Muhammadu Buhari, Attorney General of the Federation, Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC), and Tinubu, whom he made first to fourth defendants in the issue. Justice Jamil Trukor, who read the lead judgment of the three-man panel of the court, held that Owuru embarked on gross abuse of court process by filing a frivolous, vexatious, and irritating suit to provoke the respondents. Moving on, and ahead of the May 29 inauguration of the president-elect Bola Tinubu, the police have deployed personnel to protect the presidential villa, provide security at and around the Eagle Square in Abuja, and man all Nigerian borders, seaports, and airports. Force Public Relations Officer Olumiwa Adejobi disclosed this on Thursday in a statement, saying operatives will equally be deployed to man the entry and exit points of the capital city and other critical government installations. Also deployed by the police are helicopters and drones for aerial surveillance in Abuja and its environ, as well as water cannons and armored personnel carriers. Also in the news, the Inspector General of Police, Usman Akale Baba, has deployed Mwonyi Polycarp Emeka to Rivers State as the new Commissioner of Police. Emeka is taking over from CP Okon Effiong, who is posted to head the Department of Finance and Administration (ICT) at Force Headquarters. This was disclosed in a statement on Thursday by the Force Public Relations Officer CSP Muyiwa Adejobi in Abuja. Here in Rivers State, Governor Nyesom Wike has announced the immediate dissolution of the Rivers State Executive Council. The governor made the announcement on Thursday at a special valedictory session for the outgone Executive Council members. He directed the former commissioners to hand over to the permanent secretaries all the most senior officers in their respective ministries. In the meantime, Governor Wike said the success recorded by his administration is not his sole effort, but collective contribution of cabinet members. The governor said the outgone commissioners have every reason to be proud for being part of history under his administration. Let's take a listen.
Everybody is saying today we have done well. No one person did well. Everybody did well. The governor alone cannot, on his own, be in charge of everywhere. The governor needs people who will work for him. All he does is from time to time find out whether things are moving on well or not. So that I've done well, for me, it's not to myself. Those who are responsible for our state shining today are all of you who are seated here. I want to sincerely thank you for the support.
Governor Wike, however, admitted that working with him is tedious.
To work with me, I've always said, is very difficult. I've said that from the beginning. And those of you who were able to work with me for 8 years, I know what you must have passed through. It's not as if I have any misgivings, but that I always want the best for our state. Our team, who have done well. So everybody, I can go home now and be happy to say, yes, I participated when they said Rivers State became one of the leading states in this country. When they said there was infrastructure revolution in this state. When they said we stood our ground and fought the federal government when we know they violated the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Rivers State Governor further said he is happy for handing over successfully, even though he didn't enjoy the same treatment. He reminded everyone that his administration has executed projects in the 23 local government areas in the past 8 years.
I'm sure everybody is happy that you can go, nobody will stone you. To say, look at these criminals. They looted the treasury of the state. No one common project. No, you can go home and tell anybody, challenge me. Which area did you say we are lacking? No local government in this state can say that we have not impacted in their own local government, not one. From Rivers West to Rivers East to Rivers Southeast, not one local government can say so.
And as President Muhammad Buhari inaugurated the Dangote 650,000 barrel per day capacity refinery in Lagos, reaction has begun to trail his administration's failure to fix the nation's 4 refineries within his 8 years in office. A Port Harcourt-based social analyst and activist, Pat Obiene, in his reaction, described the situation surrounding the Nigerian petroleum refineries as colossal and a menace to the people of Nigeria. Obiene, who disclosed this during an interview with correspondent Felix Banako in Port Harcourt, said the issue of oil cabals, which has not been dismantled by subsequent governments, is responsible for this situation. Let's take a listen.
It's very colossal that the issue of the Nigerian petroleum refineries is still a menace to the people of Nigeria. That's because I believe strongly there is this oil cabal that since the days of the military junta that has extended into our democratic leadership. Government after government has not been able to summon the courage and to dismantle this oil cabal. Worst of it all, they had made oil a mono economy of the Nigerian political space.
Pat Obiene particularly accused President Buhari of violating Section 138 of the Nigerian Constitution that says the president shall not give himself executive position. Let's have a listen.
Because crude oil is the only commodity on which the national budget is hinged, they find it difficult to separate corruption from how it is managed for the benefit of Nigerians. Particularly when you consider even President Buhari's gross violation of Section 138 of the Constitution that clearly talks about during his tenure, not just him but the president's tenure, shall not give to himself any other executive position. He is there in Section 138 of the Constitution as amended. So that in itself is a colossus of corruption. So when such foundation is already corrupt, you expect little or nothing to change positively in how the oil or petroleum industry is managed.
The social activist further advised the incoming government of Bola Tinubu to summon political will to dismantle the use of crude oil price at the international market to determine the nation's budget.
The incoming government needs to summon the courage and political will and compassion to dismantle the use of crude oil to determine the national budget. There must be deliberate efforts by the incoming government to alter the laws that has given the federal government the exclusive right to run the oil industry and rather allow the component states to begin to explore, develop, produce and export their natural endowments and remit what is considered reasonable to the center as it is done in other federating states.
Also in the news, a suspected vandal who gave his name as Godia Yakubu has been apprehended by vigilante members in the early hours of Friday in an attempt to cut streetlight cable at Iwofe in Port Harcourt. Chief Security Officer in charge of Calabar quarters in Iwofe, Richman Jogbe, in an interview with our correspondent, narrated how he was arrested.
My name is Richman Jogbe. I'm the CSO in charge of Calabar quarter. Early hours of this morning, we arrested one man called Kodia. He's from Benue State. Him and 2 others went to cut this street light, this government cable. So we have investigated and hand over him to Ome Pakana, Divisional Headquarters.
The spokesperson of the Rivers State Police Command, SP Grace Ringikoko, has not confirmed the report as she is yet to respond to text messages or phone calls put across to her by newsmen. Recall that 2 weeks ago, Burkiri Police Division arrested 3 young men, Belemago, Michael Edet and George Itari Kabo, in the act of vandalizing streetlights provided for the community by Niger Delta Development Commission. Now, still in Rivers State, Customs Area 1 Command, Port Harcourt, says Nigerian Customs Service is strictly involved in revenue generation and trade facilitation aimed to recreate a seamless and conducive cargo documentation and clearance at the port. Controller of the command, Chiede Wada, disclosed this in an interview with newsmen in Port Harcourt. Comptroller Wada said the command is committed to trade facilitation and suppression of smuggling. He added that smuggling cannot be completely eradicated, but to a great extent can be drastically reduced to its barest minimum.
Then the person of smuggling. That's person of smuggling. When you say smuggling, people think about border stations. Smuggling is everywhere. It's in the seaports, airports, and land ports. That is land borders, everywhere. Then how do we do now? We settle with the authority. The federal government has settled customs with the responsibility of pressing this smuggling. You cannot stop it. If America couldn't be able to stop smuggling, then who else? Simply because when they invest into smuggling, anti-smuggling activities, that's what I said other country has done that. Remember the last time when even the last president was saying he will now build a wall in America and Mexico because of the smuggling. So smuggling is a big issue, and the Nigerian Customs Service, by going by the statistics, we found out that the seizures made, the interventions made, all those are.
The customs boards reassure that the command will train and retrain stakeholders in the area command, specifically the customs agents, in a bid to enhance their knowledge and clear any possible gray area that are capable to hinder smooth cargo clearance at the port.
From the first point as it drops to the last point of exit, we make interventions where necessary, otherwise we facilitate it and let it go quick as quick as possible within the shortest possible time. So we want to now let the agent.
You are listening to Family Love 97 FM News. The news continues in just a moment. Still to come, manufacturers knock CBN over interest rate hike to 18.5% plus other stories. Please stay with us.
Stay up to date with the biggest news and current affairs from the local, national and international scene on Family Love 97.7 FM Port Harcourt. Listen to the news at dawn at 6:30 a.m. The news at noon at 6 p.m. News updates at 10 a.m. and 4 p.m. and the news in Pidgin English at 11 a.m. and 2 p.m. The news on weekends at 12 noon and 6 p.m. Saturdays and Sundays. Family Love, your source for the news.
Welcome back. In business, the Manufacturers Association of Nigeria, MAN, has condemned the Central Bank of Nigeria's decision to increase the monetary policy rate. The monetary policy rate, also known as the interest rate, to 18.5% amid rising inflation. The Director General of Manufacturers Association of Nigeria, Shegun Ajije Kaduri, who disclosed this on Thursday in a statement in Abuja, said CBN must think outside the box to solve the country's rising inflation. He noted that CBN's approach to curbing rising inflation through interest rate rise resulted in more woes in the nation's economy. And on foreign scene, the founder of the far-right militant Oath Keepers, Stuart Rhodes, was sentenced to 18 years in prison on Thursday for seditious conspiracy, the longest sentence imposed to date over the January 6 U.S. Capitol riot that sought to keep Donald Trump in the White House. U.S. District Judge Amit Mehta delivered the sentence after a defiant Rhodes stood before him in an orange jumpsuit and claimed he was a political prisoner. And in sports, Manchester United sealed qualification for next season's Champions League with a 4-1 thrashing of beleaguered Chelsea on Thursday. Casemiro, Anthony Martial, Bruno Fernandes and Marcus Rashford were on target as the Red Devils moved up to third in the Premier League. A miserable night summed up Chelsea's season despite spending over £500 million in the transfer market as they slumped to an 8th defeat in 10 games since Frank Lampard returned as interim manager. That's our package for you this Friday afternoon. But before we go, here are the main points. Supreme Court has dismissed PDP's double nomination suit against Shetima. Governor Nyesom Wike has dissolved Rivers State Executive Council. We also brought you the report that U.S. militia leader has been sentenced to 18 years in prison for January 6 Capitol riot. That's the news on Family Love 97.7 FM. Port Harcourt Media Awards 2022 Radio Station of the Year as edited by Felix Banaco. For comments, observations, and coverage of your event, please call our news desk on 0817 156 1690. Follow us on Facebook at Love FM Family Station, Twitter at LoveFmph977, and on Instagram at LoveFmph97.7. 21st century nations are dependent on qualitative leadership. With all hands on deck, Nigeria will be great. I am Felix Ojogo. Thank you for listening. Do enjoy the rest of our afternoon's broadcast. Good afternoon.
With the best music.
I love the music.
Don't touch it. That's right. This is Family Love 97.7 FM.
The anticipation is high in the air, but the wait is over. Heaven is set to invade the earth, bringing miracles, healings, blessings, peace, prosperity for you, your family, your community, city, and nation. Is one word from God with God sent one, Pastor T.B. Peters. One word from God is a special miracle and healing meeting characterized by the miraculous display of God's power.